You know, it's funny. A lot of guys that I've talked to about cheap dating, they go, well, you're like an older guy. How can you tell me about cheap dating? It's very simple. I made all those mistakes. Okay, everybody needs an Uncle Cheap Date, and I just want all the guys out there to know that I'm here for them. I've made all the mistakes. I'm going to make sure they don't make all the mistakes, and I'm officially adopting every single one of you who's watching or listening to my voice right now. You're my official nephews and in some instances nieces of Uncle Cheap Date. I'm going to teach you what Uncle Cheap Date knows so you can be a successful cheap date. Hi, I'm Bruce Brown, creator of the Cheap Date System. Now, you might ask yourself, what makes me an expert on cheap dating? Well, I don't know if I'm an expert, but I certainly have had my share of, let's say, unpleasant experiences spending too much money on dates. A little quick background on me. I'm a licensed private investigator. I've probably been on 1,000 dates easy. You ever have those experiences where you spent too much on a date? Could have been $50, $100, $200. One time I spent $300 on a date and found out later, not only did she have a boyfriend, she just liked the fact I was spending money on her. She had no interest whatsoever. That kind of stuff, I hope that'll never happen to you. Reason why I am talking to you is because I have made all the mistakes. I don't want you to make any of the mistakes I've made. So that's one of the reasons why I created the Cheap Date System. It's based upon a book that I did a few years back. I've now updated it. Now it's a digital system for inexpensive dating. Make sure you go to cheapdatesystem.com and sign up for my free newsletter. And let's see if we can't save you some money and some heartache. The money you have for dating, most of it should remain in your wallet. It depends on the sort of place you're meeting a woman. It's expectations. If you're at a high-end restaurant, a high-end bar, or a high-end department store, that's a problem because those women who shop there, if they don't have money, they're looking for money generally. And if they do have money, they're also looking for money, okay? Whether they have a trust fund or a rich father or whatever the case may be, they're looking for cash and they're looking for guys who are going to spend cash most of the time. So that's why it's better, believe it or not, it's better to meet a woman perhaps in a like a J.C. Penney's as opposed to a Bloomingdale's, or in a fast food restaurant in line as opposed to, say, a four-star restaurant. It's expectations, and it's also the sort of women who go there frequently. They're just absolutely looking for guys with money, guys who are going to spend money on them. And you don't even want to date those gals because you know what? I'll tell you a little secret. There are attractive women just as attractive, who go to fast food restaurants or who go to ethnic restaurants that are inexpensive, holes in the wall, or whatever the case, or even go to J.C. Penney's, just as attractive and just as appealing as women who go into, say, a Barney's or a high-end store, a Harrods in London or whatever the case, even more than Harrods, okay, higher end than that. So, remember, all these techniques work wherever you live, whether you live in Paris, Texas, or Paris, France, or whatever. If you follow these rules, you're not going to get caught up with a woman who's going to just bleed your wallet dry. We're out of time. I just want to say thanks for watching. I'm Bruce Brown, creator of the Cheap Date System. And I want to remind you, if you haven't already signed up for my free newsletter, okay, my free Cheap Date newsletter, go to cheapdatesystem.com and do that. Also, it'll allow you to access some interesting articles on cheap dating. So you can look at those. And you can find out more about the Cheap Date System, which, as a friend of mine says, is a lot cheaper than most guys spent on their last 2 dates that didn't even get them a kiss goodnight at the door. So, thanks for watching. Looking forward to seeing you next time. And whatever you do, make sure you have fun, but make sure you're cheap dating.